students. If you have signed up for this class, you've signed up for the winter session of MLL 190, The World and Language Structure and Biological Aspects. I think I'm doing something a little bit differently this year in that instead of doing a hybrid class, I'm making everything online. So all the announcements, the discussion board, the assignments, the papers will all be due via email and all be due online. And I will also record my lectures for every topic that we will study. But just to give you an overview of the class, here are all of the things that you need to know on the left-hand side. So announcements is where I will post announcements. Maybe if I find something online that I find useful, or if I find a link to something, um, I'll post here. Syllabus, this is where the syllabus is. Syllabus Winter 2018 MLL 190. And to go over the syllabus very briefly, here are my office hours. I do office hours by appointment only, so let me know if you if you need to talk with me about anything or discuss any questions that you may have. Here's the course description. Here's my email if you need it. As far as the textbooks go, the textbooks should be pretty simple. The Language Instinct, I actually uploaded this on Blackboard. So if you go into Blackboard under additional readings, I think it's just called readings. Here should be the Language Instinct. And so this is text by Steven Pinker. And then another requirement of the course is George Yule's The Study of Language. So this text you can probably find online if you Google it. However, some of the things might be a little bit outdated, especially with the Pinker text because that was written in 1994, probably before you were born. Let me just edit this. Okay, so MLL was originally scheduled for Tuesday, Thursday in person, and Wednesday online. However, I just decided in light of recent circumstances, just to make the class completely online. But that being said, that you have 3 discussion board posts due every week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and you should have at least 6 responses to your peers and a final paper, and there are no final exams for this class, only a final paper. So lectures, if you look onto the lectures, each lecture comes, if you go to PowerPoints, I split it up into all the days that we have, so it would be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So the first Tuesday is January 2nd. And you see I have a screencast here, so if you click on the screencast, it will look very much like this PowerPoint. And then here we have the lecture on in PowerPoint form, so you can go and look at it. One of the things that I tried to do was to play the videos as the video was playing, like a video within the video. But YouTube decided to take it down, so anytime in the screencast I say, oh, maybe go look back at this video, you can do that on the PowerPoint itself. So it might be nice to actually have the PowerPoint up while you're listening to my lecture. So yeah, there's some things that I might skip over for brevity or for time. So the class is supposed to be 3 hours. There's lots of participation, lots of interaction, but it's a good rule of thumb to say, okay, I need to get 3 posts. Each post is due by the discussion board post. So for example, January 2nd, you need to do discussion board post. And so for January 2nd, the discussion board post topic is your linguistic autobiography. Here I have instructions, and here I have an example. So all you do is just go to the discussions, and then here you can post your linguistic autobiography. You notice that I've already posted mine here. As part of your participation, I also would like you to comment on 2 of your peers' posts. And to make sure that your posts are relevant and engaging, I have a rule in which if you post something, you have to have received at least 2 posts. So 2 responses, I should say, to your discussion post, and that just tries to move along the conversation and tries to make sure that people don't only comment to one person. So that's, as far as discussion board posts, what you're supposed to post about. You can go on to the lectures themselves. So for example, For under the PowerPoints, I usually post them in the screencasting. I usually point to which ones they are. But for example, here's word formation. So for the lecture on word formation, all I have to do is, and you can do this if you ever hate the sound of my own voice. I hate the sound of my own voice. Um, but if you ever tire of hearing me speak, you can always go to, of course, after reviewing all these lecture notes, to the bottom where it has the discussion board questions. So you're only supposed to pick one, okay? So either discussion board question 1 or discussion board question 2, okay? Um, you can write about them both if you feel so inclined, but you're only allowed you only are required um, to discuss one, and each discussion board post must be at least 250 to 300 words. Right, so it's a good a rule of thumb to think, okay, if you get 3 posts due, one due on Tuesday, one due on Wednesday, one due on Thursday at 1 p.m., then you can start commenting on at least two of your peers' posts and receive at least 2 responses to your post for the final week. So, for example, if you posted your first post, a linguistic autobiography, by Tuesday, you should comment on 2 posts and have received at least 2 responses by your peers by January 9th. So try to write posts that are engaging, maybe ask a question or two, maybe, invite some sort of higher level thinking in order to intrigue your readers into responding to your posts. So bad posts would be things like that recap something I just said, or, stating the obvious, or don't really add any sort of credence to a post. You're not really going to get responses that way. I also really don't like pleading for the posts. I think if you wanted to do that, you can message the class individually. But I don't like people like posting on the discussion board, please respond to my post, because then it becomes a big pity party. So participation. Timeliness is very crucial because we will meet asynchronously. The earlier you post your discussion board post, the more time that people can respond. Content, it should be pretty intriguing. You should have 250 to 300 words. If you find no one is commenting on your post, you may need to revise and resubmit. Reach out to encourage others to comment as far as individually, or decide to take a lower grade on your participation for the discussion. So it says, I realize that not everyone can be a genius every day, but you are a UMBC student, so I do expect better. Of course, it's word limit. You can always go over the word limit, that's no problem. Don't forget you are required to have at least 2 respondents to your discussion board post, and you are also required to post it to others. So go with the flow. It's tempting to go ahead and comment on the discussion board in advance, but to keep up with the timeline, and also sometimes in this way you might forget about it. It's good to say, okay, well, I have a post coming up, so maybe I should just kind of stay in track, not get too far ahead. But I understand that people are traveling, or there might be some weeks where you like to work ahead, and that's totally fine. In which case, you can definitely, and are encouraged to work ahead um, if you have something in your schedule. If you're late, try not to be late, but try to post ASAP and have 2 peers comment on your post. Again, reach out to individual members of um, of the class and try to figure out, okay, so is there a way that you comment on my post, and maybe I can comment on yours or something like that. So the winter classes are very demanding. They should be at least 3 hours a day. I'm also working. I'm also reading your posts. I'm also spending twice as much, if at least not 3 hours, making these lectures and commenting these lectures and refining my PowerPoints. So this is a very hectic class, and hopefully you can stay on track of that by following the schedule. So the grading would be, there's 200 total points, so there's 110 points, so there's 11 lectures, so 10 points each, 6 points for your discussion board post, and then 2 points per response. So just have 2 responses, so it's total 4 points, so 10 times 11, 110. And then 90 points for your final 5-page essay on the topic of your choice. So this could be anything. This could be a research paper. This could be the state of language. I had a brilliant paper 2 years ago by a student who wrote about like the language change in DC, and it was just fantastic. Other people were talking of, you could think about like how language relates to whatever you're studying. So, for example, if you're studying like biology or something, you might find language in the brain very intriguing. You might choose to write about that. And then here are the grading scale. I do give extra credit. There are extra credit opportunities located on Blackboard. So we go into Blackboard and click on the projects. These are the what I call optional projects. So each project must be at least a page and a half. I'm very, very, very strict on page limit, and so it's the only thing that I have that opens up in a Word format. But yeah, it's like kind of fun. It's like you would choose something about standards and ideologies. Um, like pick a question and talk about, oh, okay, this person was fired because he has a Kentucky accent. So, what would you do about the situation? So there's no really no wrong response. You're just talking about like, oh, this is what I would do, and this is why. Maybe you can incorporate some things that you find in the lecture. These are my personal pet peeves. I know it's some of you have taken my classes before. You know that these are things that I find very annoying. One of them is repetition. So if there's something that you're not quite sure, maybe rewatch this video again, read the syllabus, look on Blackboard, email me if you always, if you have any questions. I'm mostly always available by email, so you can definitely send me an alert there. Length. I'm also very strict on page limit. And the reason for this is because I haven't really encountered a lot of good student responses that were under the page limit or under the word count. And so when I say 1.5 pages, I really mean 1.5 pages, Times New Roman, 12-point font, right? When I say 5-page double space essay, it should hit the bottom of the 5th page. I probably should put double space here somewhere. I'll add that in later. Anyway, so here's the schedule of everything. Here's when the optional projects are due. These are all the assignments that should be completed before this date. So you know, by Tuesday, you should have your linguistic autobiography posted. Right, so work on your final paper, which is due like 5 days after the last day of class. And last day of class, there's no discussion board post. But yeah, so each day, just try to figure out, if you could write a discussion board post and respond to 2 people, watch my lectures, try to think about how language relates to everyday life. Let's go back to Blackboard. Okay, so PowerPoints, everything should be pretty self-explanatory. These are all the dates, and every lecture should come with a screencast. I haven't made the screencast yet, which is why it's not there. Here we have these readings. We have different readings. Here is the language instinct. Again, you can Google and search on your own time George Yule's The Study of Language. Here are various readings that correspond to the syllabus. Here's where the discussion board post is. If you have any questions, you can also answer the forum, the Ask the Professor box. So you can definitely, use that as a way to engage. If you read a news story item and you think this is very interesting, you can definitely do that. And here are the optional projects. But as always, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and email me and let me know if there's anything going on. Otherwise, I will see you on the discussion board.